Everyone, CPO here, and in this video I'm going to do a up-close and personal look with you at the 3 pens that I have from Ratta for the Supernote series. And I'm going to tell you in this video exactly which one is my favorite and why. Alright, so we have 3 pen options for you. This one, the white one, is the base model pen. The second one is the Heart of Metal series pen, and the third is the Lamy pen. And they are all very different. They feel very different. They write very different. And one of them, by far, is my favorite. And it's my go-to. Like, I don't even want to write with the other ones. So, yeah, that's what this video is about. Alright, so let's start with the base model pen. This one is sort of the budget version of pens you get for the Supernote series. So this is a ceramic nibbed pen, and it writes really nicely. And I'll tell you right now, the nibs for the Heart of Metal series and the base model are the same ceramic nibs. So the way they feel when putting pen to paper, so to speak, is going to be pretty much the same. So then what we have to talk about is what's different in the hand feel. So with this base model pen, you can see it's got a little bit of a shape to it, kind of a squared shape. So it's squared where you have the bottom of the barrel, and then it sort of turns, and it's got a twist to it, still squared, but twisted, where it goes, and then at the end, where the cap goes, it's rounded. So rounded at the very top, rounded at the very bottom, square right about here, with a twist into same square near the top. So, where you hold the pen is going to dictate how it feels to you. So if you hold a pen up high like this, you're going to feel those squared sort of edges, and it's going to help sort of lock the pen into place. You're going to find that you gravitate towards pinching around those squares. However, I kind of like to hold a little bit closer to the nib, which means I'm really like grabbing hold right here at this transition, which is a fairly stark transition between the barrel and the, I don't know what this thing is called technically, the thing that holds the nib. So while it writes nice and it feels nice, I like the way the ceramic nib feels when writing on the Supernote. It's not as comfortable of a pen as the Heart of Metal series for me, because the way this one is shaped, I can get down lower on the barrel, and it's rounded all the way around. There is some texture here. You can see sort of those lines drawn, and it narrows down, but there's just a comfortable spot for me to hold this pen right there. The rest of the pen is sort of rounded. No squared edges, no blocks, nothing like that. But I just find it's more comfortable to hold down lower. You put them nib to nib, you can see you can grip lower on the Heart of Metal pen than you can the standard pen before you hit that transition, right? So the transition on this one is here. The transition on this one is here. And so if I put the transitions lined up, you can see how much deeper you can grab the Heart of Metal pen as opposed to the standard one. So that makes a difference to me on how it feels when writing. And so by far, I prefer the Heart of Metal pen for writing feel. Again, the nibs, the ceramic nibs are the same, so they feel the same as far as the contact with the device, but this is more comfortable in the hand for me. So we can talk about balance and weight. I'm not going to do a scientific thing here. I'm not going to weigh them for you. I'm sure you can figure out how much these things weigh. I feel like they're pretty close to the same. This is plastic. This is metallic. Some metal of some sort. So they're pretty similar in weight. The heart of metal is a little bit shorter. And very well balanced. And with or without the cap. I usually don't write with the caps on the pen because I leave the caps stuck into the cap holder on the cover for the device. So most of the time I'm not using a cap, and I think that this is a very comfortable balanced pen. If you do write with a cap, it becomes a little bit top heavy for me. And that's just me. Like if I let go, it wants to rotate back. Without the cap, if I let go, it just wants to stay there. So without the cap, it's very well balanced and a little bit top heavy with the cap. With the base pen, it's pretty well balanced, maybe a little bit more top heavy, back heavy because it's a longer pen. Yeah, the balance isn't as great, I don't think, as the heart of metal. And then with the cap on, it doesn't change a lot. The cap is very light. Like, this is very minimal. It doesn't add much weight at all to it, so it doesn't really change the feel that much. But I will say the heart of metal without the cap is super well balanced. So take that for what it's worth. Now we have the Lamy pen. All right, so the Lamy pen is sort of unique. It's its own design, right? So this is a well-known and well-established design. It's got like a triangular shape where the barrel comes down to that transition. It's very comfortable to grip and very comfortable with the three flat sides of the triangle. There's a side to rest all of your three fingers, so it naturally sort of fits the writing position well. And you can see you can get pretty low down on it. We'll line up those transitions, and it's not that much different than the heart of metal, maybe even a little bit shallower, lower to the surface. So I really like that. If you like being down and like digging in and we call it choking up on the pen, then that's a good feel for you. It's lightweight. As far as the balance, it's, I think, as equally balanced as the heart of metal. Like, it just stays in place without the cap. With the cap on, it's quite a different story. It's top heavy and wants to fall back. So again, if you write without the caps, the heart of metal and the Lamy are almost perfectly balanced in the hand. It's like they're counterweighted just right for writing. So that makes them very comfortable, not very tiring. You can write for a long period of time without feeling like you're having to hold the pen in place. It just sort of rests in place, and then you're gripping to hold it and then move it around. So I like everything about the Lamy pen. Then you add on top of the fact that you have this button here, which is an eraser button. None of the other pens from Ratta or the Supernote lineup have this eraser function, and that's very nice. The ability to come up here and just press a button and then erase and then go back to writing is super nice, I'm not gonna lie. Matter of fact, that's the one reason why this should be my favorite pen. But it's not. It's not my favorite pen. And the reason it's not my favorite pen is because I don't like the nib. So it has a rounded nib, unlike the ceramic nibs of the others that are sort of sharp and like really fine mechanical pencil tip or fine pen tip. This is sort of a rounded, stubbier nib. It's a hard plastic. So it writes a lot differently. It's, for me, not nearly as desirable. Like, I really wanted to love this pen, but I don't like the way it writes. It's sort of like the difference between with a let's say a gel pen. It's sort of the difference between writing on a piece of paper and writing on a glossy business card, right? This is more like writing on a glossy business card compared to this that would be more like writing on a piece of paper. Now, it's not a one-for-one because we're not talking about, like, this doesn't feel exactly like writing on paper anyway. But hopefully you get that analogy. So while this is really sharp and precise, and you can feel the very specific drag, and it's just, there's some sensation about how it sort of digs in to the screen protector, the flexible self-healing screen protector that's on the Ratta Supernote devices. This one sort of just glides over the top of that, and it feels more like you're writing on it instead of writing in it. Maybe that's the way to do it, where you're just sort of like slicking across the top versus sort of digging in like you do with these ceramic nibs. That's why it's not my favorite. As far as weight goes, I think it's a little bit lighter than the Heart of Metal. Scientific testing here. Pretty consistent. The base pen and the Lamy pen are pretty close in weight. And the Heart of Metal might be just a little bit heavier, and this is with all the caps on. So as far as pen lengths, the Lamy and the Heart of Metal are about equal, and the base pen is just a little bit longer. But with that said, Heart of Metal, no doubt my favorite writer of the Supernote pens. No question. It doesn't matter which device I'm using, the A5X, the A5, the A6X. I'm reaching for this Heart of Metal pen, even if I have another pen nearby. So that is my very biased and CPO subjective review of the different pen types. I know some of you have been wanting to hear this information, and because I have all three available to me, I'm able to make that assessment for you. It's taken me a while to do this because I really wanted to see like what my favorite was. I wanted to test them out and try them. So I write with this one for a while, and then I'll like go hide it for myself, and then I use the Lamy for a while, and then I'm like, oh man, that eraser, so awesome. I love the eraser, and I love the way it feels, but man, it just doesn't write the same. I can't get used to it. And to be fair, once I got the Heart of Metal pen, this one just was not as enjoyable to write anymore because I couldn't choke up on it as much as comfortably. The writing feels the same, but the way the hand holding is different. So this one just sort of ended up going to the side, and it really became a matter of how important is the eraser function to me? Is it important enough to sacrifice the tip to surface feel? And for me, yeah, it wasn't. I'll erase manually and use the Heart of Metal pen. So anyway, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.